Hey y'all, it's Amber.
And Clara.
Welcome to Need for Reality, where the mixers are loud, the takes are hotter than the oven, and the drama never disappoints.
Grab a glass of wine, coffee, or whatever is around you, preheat to 350, and let's get into it. Hey, Amber.
Hey Clara, how are you?
I'm good. How are you doing?
I'm good now that it decided to be above 70 degrees in Virginia. So it's
No
been nice,
way. Okay, wait, I
even though
hated
you probably been in what, like
that. No.
80?
No, literally. When I left Virginia, I think it was in like the 50s and it wasn't like enjoyable. And I had to put my heat back on. And I think we talked about this.
We
I
did.
have my heat set to 62. So like I still freeze in my apartment anyway. But now that I've been in sunny California, it was kind of warm the first few days. And now it's like chilling in like the 68, 70 range. And I know many people might be like, wow, that's beautiful weather, but it's like cold here. So I'm like fully wearing sweatpants and I wore a sweatshirt earlier today. It's
Well, yeah.
freezing.
I was going to say, because when I came to visit in February, even though I think it was still like 60, 70 degrees during the day, because you're in the desert, it's still really cold.
Yeah, a lot of people don't understand that while it is sunny all the time, it's not necessarily the best because we have all the sand and like
Yeah.
the sand kind of absorbs all the heat and then it's just gone. So this morning it actually rained here in Los Angeles, which is like something that never happens. I like woke up and I was like, what are those rain sounds? I thought one of the dogs that I was like watching was peeing somewhere. No, it was fully like rain. But I did enjoy a nice run on the beach this morning and I was like,
Ooh.
wow, who is she? Also, wasn't today like the cherry blossom 10 miler in DC?
I know it was the Cherry Blossom Festival because Miss USA I saw was in town for here.
I don't know about the 10 miler, but I do know that they had a 5K in DC this morning. My sister ran it, so maybe that was part of it. They started in like the Congressional Cemetery for some reason.
That's weird. That's really weird. And congrats, because this is your sister's second marathon.
Yeah, her first was a half marathon, so she trained and trained and trained, and then this was a 5K that her friend wanted to do with her.
That's
Cool.
so funny. Yeah, no, I did a slight 5K this morning. But also it's really hard to get tickets into the Cherry Blossom, like even like the 10 miler or the 5K. So it's on the bucket list of things to do. But it looked gorgeous. I saw all like my fitness influencers that I follow doing that. But yeah, no, I mean this week's been really good. This week's been fun. I can't wait to be back home, especially be back home with you guys because I feel a little bit of the FOMO that we're not all there together
I
recording.
know. It's so sad. We miss
It
our view from our trio in our basement, our
it's
empty chair across from us.
You should have like printed out a flat Stanley of me and you like put me there.
Yeah.
Missed opportunity. But before I get into the rest of my week, Amber, what did you do this week?
Well, it was a book club week. So we talked about The Hobbit, and my hot take is the book was meh. I could have left it, could have taken it. I honestly thought the movie was better than the book. And I think that's just because The Hobbit came after the Lord of the Rings movies. So they
Mm-hmm.
incorporated some of the storyline from the Lord of the Rings into The Hobbit. So I just felt like it gave it that zhuzh that it needed because I really thought that everybody in The Hobbit were just complainers. They were not
Mm-hmm.
having it. It's kind of to me reminded me of when I read Skipping Christmas, and I couldn't wait to be out of Luther's head because it was so annoying listening to him complain about everything. That's essentially what I thought about The Hobbit. So I'm glad that's done. Book club is now on to Lord of the Rings. So we're currently reading the first one. So we'll check back in next week on
So
how
my
that
question
goes.
for you is, are you gonna have to rewatch all these Lord of the Ring movies? Because you and Ben just did that like a year and a half ago. And that
Mm-hmm.
was a commitment. And so
Mm-hmm.
I am wondering if you are gonna actually have to do that to yourself again.
The goal is yes. The goal is yes, unfortunately. And they only have the extended version on HBO Max. So we really have that commitment. I don't really want to watch it again, but I will. It's for book club. It's for book club. But so far, I'm thinking I'm liking the movie better than the book. So we'll see. Sorry. What is that, J.R. Token? May
My
he rest in
favorite
peace.
line
Yes.
is from what is that? The Winter Soldier and the Falcon, and it's like when they're talking about wizards, and it's always like a aliens or something like that, and Bucky Barnes says, "What is this, The Hobbit?" And Sam looks at him and goes, "How do you know about The Hobbit?" And Bucky Barnes goes, "I read The Hobbit back in like 19 something too when it like was released," because he's like 100 something years old but still fine as fuck. So, I love Bucky Barnes.
We love
Um
Becky Barnes.
I was thinking about you two this week because of Project Hail Mary. And of course, I'm seeing like all the billboards around LA about it, but
Mhm.
also because our friends went to like, not our close personal friends, the astronauts, but like our friends went to the moon and came back. And that's like pretty cool. So I was thinking, I was like, wow, if I had watched that movie or like read that book, I wonder if I would have like be just as excited about every like all this moon stuff. So I'm wondering, did you guys feel like a sense of excitement like watching them come back from the moon?
Without any spoilers, I was like, I hope they all want to be there. Like, I was like, I hope they're all really happy to be in space. But I was also very stressed. I was like, oh my God, what if they meet an alien? What if he's not nice? And then I was like, oh, right, that book is fiction. But yeah, the hype around it was so cool. I watched the launch and it was just like something that hasn't happened in 50 years, like a manned space flight like that. I'm not talking like the Katy Perry one that happened, but I'm talking like a manned space flight. So it was really cool, like to finally have another one of those happening. And I had a coworker who was in Florida when it was happening, and so she sent us a video. They could see it from where they were taking off, which was really cool. And so even that, I was like, oh my gosh, it's like Project Hail Mary.
No, I was like a little bit sad that I was too far up the west coast to see like them splash down because that would have been so sick.
That would have been so cool.
Yeah, no, it's so amazing. I was like, I kind of want to go to space, and then I remembered everything that happened in both The Martian and Project Hail Mary, and I was like, no, I don't. I don't. No, I don't. I don't want to go to space. I will say though,
Well,
the Hobbit movies, I'm here for Hot Dwarf. That's what I was here for.
We love the hot dwarf.
So I will say it is quite amazing at like all the mathematical equations that have to be done and all the scientific like methods. I don't know anything about fucking space or methods or science or anything like that. That has to be done to make sure that they come back. So um apparently the ship landed maybe 7 seconds post the time that they had predicted, and I'm like, that's so crazy. And also I'm on the clock app TikTok, and so I've been watching all these things about how hot it's like 500,000 degrees Fahrenheit when they're plunging down the earth. Like, you are toasty in there, you are a Pop Tart in a toaster at that point. And also the fact that like that's half the heat of the sun when you are plunging back down into earth, and then you have like all these different parachutes. What if one of those parachutes didn't like happen? And if you the reason why they have to have all the parachutes while they're like coming down and into the ocean, it's because if it wasn't a soft enough landing, it would break your spine. Like, the impact would break your spine. And I didn't know any of this. I'm like, wow, that's intense.
Well, and then pre-launch, I don't know if you saw, they like the day of the launch, pre-launch, they showed the astronauts like in the rocket. They were so close together. I was like, the heat from that alone, plus the heat of, half the sun, crazy.
But you're also sweating, probably trying to stay calm. Like, you're plunging down from earth or from space to earth. That's insane. So anyway, I just thought about you guys this week. I thought you guys would think it's as cool as I thought it was cool. And like, earth is crazy.
Well, since you're talking about sweating and heat,
I don't know
so
where
the
this is
highlight of my
going.
week this week was your girl likes to get her lips done. I needed a little more juiciness. So I'm sitting there. My girl numbs up my lips for to do the shots. And I gotta know, Do you guys like getting shots? Do you like needles? Because this, I don't. I don't. I was like, oh, oh, oh. And I felt a tear come out of my eye. And when she went to go fill up the syringe again, I went, please don't look at me wiping my tear. And shout out to the ladies at the front desk. I got up there and the room started spinning. I was like, oh no. I was like, can I pay you in just a second? I need to sit down. And one of the girls went and rushed and got me a Sprite Zero. And I was like, thank you. I was like, I'm so sorry. I don't know if this happens to you a lot. I just don't do well with needles or pain. So that was my Friday, sweating and getting heat risen out, just like our fellow astronauts. But they were doing more for us than I was doing. So,
Do they have to numb your lips with needles too, or is it like they put like a tingly thing on, like lotion?
It wasn't even, it felt like a Vaseline consistency. And she put it around the outside of my lips. And the last time I got them done, they didn't hurt this much. I don't know if it was because I went to a different office this time or whatnot, but it just freaking hurt so bad.
I wouldn't say I love needles and getting shots because that's kind of psychopathic, but I will say, like, I don't have an issue getting tattoos. So like when they did my finger tats, like that was fine. The only part I didn't like was when they went over her name's Marley Sade. She's at Crybaby Studios in DC. But when she went over my what's this ligament, I guess, or whatever, finger bone, I don't know, I'm not,
Or vein.
whatever. It's not even a vein. But it hurt like a bitch. So I will say that happened. And I don't like when they give you morphine or whatever it is for your cavities. Like those needles are big and thick. Ooh, and that freaks me out. You would be bad at getting your nose pierced because I had like a needle straight up sticking out of my nose, just like chilling until he got my jewelry.
Ew, that's disgusting. That's why I'll never do that. Ugh.
Yeah. But it's okay.
Well-
I'm here to do it. So, but that's nice that you sweated.
Thank you. It was a great workout.
I bet I would love to have seen your heart rate on your Apple Watch to see like when it spiked. Actually, that would be great information.
It would be. But in honor of you still being in LA, I think this is a great time to talk about our people in the Valley.
Before we get to the Valley, real quick, because this has to deal with California, there's two things. One, breaking news. RHoRI just won the Masters again for our fellow golf lovers. So that just happened. Congratulations to RHoRI McIlroy. You can do your little finger claps, Amber. There you go. Which actually means clock it. But my second thing is that this weekend was weekend one of Coachella in the Coachella Valley in Indigo, California. And I don't know if you were a believer, but I definitely remember sitting on my friend Dana, her computer in her parents' basement, watching that first ever Justin Bieber video that was released. And last night, his set, he did some of his new songs off of Swag. He did Daisies, all that stuff, the Yukon song. But then he literally sat on YouTube and just sang some of his old songs. And it healed my soul so much.
Fantastic.
He sang Baby. He sang Oh My Only Girl and or something like that. Oh my gosh, I'm forgetting like all the songs. And then that first song that he does of Usher's cover, he sang that as well. And that just made my heart so happy. I was crying. Other people were crying. But my question to you is, if you had to have a top Justin Bieber song, what would it be?
Baby, 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 oh, like baby, 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 no. Because I feel like his first album is really what made me love him. The OGs.
I would agree. I would say
How about
I was
you?
like looking at a few of them. Oh my gosh, One Time, that was such a banger.
That was a huge banger.
Somebody to Love. I just need somebody
Somebody to love.
I don't need no one, just somebody.
Somebody to love.
Anyway, Where Are You Now when he was with Diplo and Skrillex, that was a banger.
Oh, that
Sorry,
was a
is it
banger.
too late now to say sorry?
He just
Some
knows how to throw out bangers. That is
He
just true,
really does.
just true talent right
Ah,
there.
do you remember Beauty and a Beat? Justin, show you off. Okay, sorry. We'll get back on track, but just like real quick, need Corbin, what were your favorite?
Oh, I was so partial to Never Say Never.
Oh,
I loved that
never say
song.
no. The
But
one
I
with
also,
Will Smith's son in it, Jaden Smith.
yeah, yeah, yeah. But I think too, it was Ryan Higa on YouTube did these videos where he would like pretend to be artists or like sing songs, and he did Never Say Never. And I just remember finding it so funny when he did it because he was like, Never say never to peanut butter. And like he would just go and do all these random things. So that song just holds a very special place in like my core memories.
That's such a banger. Sorry, I'm now like I'm gonna have to go down a Justin Bieber like rabbit hole and listen to this. But weekend one of Coachella, we are manifesting that we will be at Coachella next year because that sounds amazing. And I find that all the outfits are always really interesting. All the influencers that apparently go night one. Sabrina Carpenter's set was amazing as well. So I really enjoyed that. And the perk of being here during weekend one of Coachella is that no one was in Los Angeles. So the traffic
Hey.
was beautiful. It was lovely here. I got to go to all like my restaurants that I wanted to go to. So now that we are done with Coachella, we can transition to the Valley.
The Valley. Oh my gosh, this one was a doozy. I have in my notes that starts off with Kristen, and she's talking to her man's because I'm blanking on his name at the
Luke.
moment. Luke. And how she feels so uncomfortable in her body. And it just, I just have in my note that it was just, their conversation made me so sad because I wonder if that's just how most moms feel after having a baby for the first time. Just like not themselves. Makes
Hmm.
me scared. I'm not going to lie. To have a kid. Oh, how nerve wracking.
Well, I would agree. It is heartbreaking. I do hear that a lot as well. But I also think that it's such a great conversation to have on a TV show where, we do see a lot of their lives all glammed up. I mean, that's the purpose of a reality TV show, right? It's supposed to be raw and real. And I feel like a lot of other women can identify with that. I had never heard the term fourth trimester. And then
Me
earlier this
either.
week, my sister had also shared that because my sister had a really hard time during her fourth trimester. And that's ultimately what led her to
Is
give
that
away Crow.
postpartum?
Yeah.
Okay.
So my side note, and then we'll get back on topic. My sister had a dog named Crow, who then became my dad and my stepmom's dog, and then who became my dog, and was my soul dog. So I just thought it was so interesting that like hearing the fourth trimester and then seeing it online, like watching the Valley, but
Yeah.
listening to my sister experience it too. I was like, whoa. This is a term not many people use unless you've probably had a baby.
Mm-hmm.
So I'm interested to see how it kind of plays out in the next few episodes because we're also seeing it with Nia.
Yeah, which I'm really glad that you brought that up because I love that I feel like the Valley is getting into deeper topics.
Mm-hmm.
The new mom stuff. I mean, you saw Brittany with her son, and she's really bringing awareness to autism, which I feel like you really don't see that in other TV shows. Egg freezing, which I know
Mm-hmm.
we've talked about, but I feel like again, that's just something you're not seeing in other reality TV shows. And these are things that people are doing. And then the reality of having a family with young kids, I refer that to Nia towards the end of the episode when she's talking to Danny about how overwhelmed she feels. Like she has the four kids. I do feel like in the show it really portrays that she does take care of the kids more than Danny does. And it's just maybe, however, the dynamic of their family. But I just love seeing that the Valley is just going deeper than most of these other shows, I feel like, on Bravo.
I would agree with you as well. I was going to say what I really enjoyed about seeing Brittany's scene was that we got to talk about Cruz. And, we did see last season, we've seen in a few seasons, just about how he has been a little bit slower to, grasp different things, to talk. And I think we did get an autism diagnosis from him, but it was really heartwarming to see that Brittany is really embracing like the different type of occupational therapy that there is available for him. So the sensory room, like I had
Yeah.
heard about that, but when he gets really overwhelmed, he needs to go do something, and that's either, touching different things or jumping up and down to get that energy out and to express his feelings. So really shout out to Brittany and shout out to the Valley producers for showing that. But I did find it also interesting that she mentioned that he's doing a lot better ever since Jax has left and
That's what I
Jax
was
has
going
been
to
away.
say. I
Yeah.
mean, you are a product of your environment. Jax was not good for him, and you could clearly see that last season from Cruz. So the fact that he is so happy, it makes my heart just so happy because that's what we've been wanting to see from Cruz anyways, and seeing Brittany thrive because of that, now that they're out of that toxic situation, that whole family is thriving. And I feel like when you think about the Valley last season and this season, every time Uncle Zach comes over, Cruz is always just so excited to see him too. It just shows you that good people give good energy. And kids
Yeah.
can clock that so fast.
Oh my gosh. Kids are so easy to kind of pick up on vibes and whether or not they feel comfortable with someone. And as like a nanny, I've definitely learned that as well. But I was going to say, I did start tearing up a little bit when he said Zach to Zach. And
Yeah,
that was a very cute moment. So that
that
made my
was.
heart happy. Should we move on to our next family?
Well, I was actually going to move on to Lala
In
because,
Sosa's birthday party?
yes, because here's my question to you. What is the purpose of having a birthday for your 1 year old? They're not going to remember. So, in reality, it's just for the parent. Are we celebrating that the parent was able to keep their child alive for a year?
Amber, I have a feeling you're gonna throw a birthday party for your future child at 1, and you're gonna be like, "But it's for the memories." They're gonna look back in a photo book, and they're gonna be like, "I remember my Auntie Clara and Auntie Corbin were there." Like 'cause it's like it's a silly thing, I agree, but also, like, I have so many nieces and nephews, and I remember that first birthday party. It's really for the family, honestly, of, like, celebrating this child being brought into the world, like, yada, 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 but, like,
Yeah.
you get, like, a little smash cake where the kid gets to smash the cake and, like, do cute little things. That shit's so adorable, and then also, you're a parent, you're gonna be broke anyway, you want gifts for your kid so that you don't have to go buy it. Like, I'm probably going to go broke when your child comes, which is not anytime soon. So this is not a pregnancy announcement.
Yes, we're not pregnant in the Rupert household.
No, no one's pregnant.
Girl's got a pageant to do.
And then we'll talk about it. But still, yes, there's no baby. So in that house. But anyway, my point
But,
being is it's fun.
well, I haven't been to a 1 year old's birthday party since my youngest sister was born. She is now 24, 23. Isabel, I'm sorry, I don't remember your age at the moment. But that's over 20 years.
I'm
Whatever,
pretty
I
sure
don't
she's
care.
23.
Whatever. Anyways, it's still over 20 years. And I haven't been to a 1 year old birthday since. I just think it's kind of funny. Because when you want to save that money to have for your kid when they can remember, like I loved my Chuck E. Cheese birthday parties. Your girl thrived at Chuck E. Cheese. But I get what you're saying. I mean, it is an accomplishment. It is cute. We'll see whenever I have a child if I do end up having a first birthday party. And then you guys can come back and be like, you need to listen to episode 4 of your podcast so that you can remember that you thought it was silly.
I'm going to pull your child aside when they're older and be like, your mom never wanted to give you your first birthday. But guess who wanted her to? Me, your aunt. Your Auntie Corbin, your Auntie Clara pulled for this. Well, okay, going back to the Valley and unnamed children.
Also, I guess going back to the first birthday, we saw our pal Jason
Yes, I was gonna
He
say I was
showed
gonna
up.
text you and be like, "Wow, look who showed up." Well, here's my thing. I don't really have any big takeaways from that. The whole entire like Nia and Janet
About Janet, that was
talking,
so awkward. That
that
was
was
so
so
unnecessary.
awkward. It was so weird. I don't think that I would be fine if I never really saw Janet on my screen again. If I'm being honest, I thought the Jasmine and Janet conversation was really interesting because I low key forgot about their huge blowout last
Yeah.
year. And also, I love Jasmine. I think she is thriving. So pumped about like to see how that's also going to go out, because you see that at the end of the episode, there's more tension between
Yeah.
those two.
Right.
I also did enjoy seeing our little Shortsy and Michelle kind of talk a
I
little bit
know.
more.
Ah! I'm such a stand for that. I really do hope that they end up together. I think they're so cute. I love that they did whatever that thing was.
They were
Was
in
it?
an energy like salt bath thing, right? Like a salt cave.
Yeah.
Yeah,
It was
I
very
definitely thought.
interesting, but I was like, good for you two.
Have you
That's
ever
definitely
been in one?
no.
Oh
The
my
closest thing
gosh.
I've done to like a salt something is like an Epsom salt bath. It's the closest thing I've
Okay,
gotten to salt.
so we're going to King's Spa in Centerville, and we will go into the salt saunas and
Okay.
all that. There's like a gold sauna and everything. This is not an ad for King's Spa in Centerville, but if you own King's Spa in Centerville and want to give us a sponsorship, please reach out to our producer Corbin, because I would totally take that sponsorship.
Your girl
um,
needs a good sauna anyways.
yeah, I mean, she can't be like doing her lips every week to get a good sweat out. So. I love Jasmine. I think Jasmine is great.
She is great, and I'm really excited. Do you think we're going to see her wedding this season or just the engagement stuff?
Well, speaking of weddings, shout out to our friend Rachel who just set her wedding date.
Hey, shout out Rachel. Congrats. August 2027. Here we come.
Here we go. Anyway, so Jasmine, I do wonder if we're gonna see her wedding date, or her wedding. I would love to, but it wouldn't surprise me if like she was like, I do want this like a little bit more private.
Yeah.
I feel like she's part of the cast, but she's a friend of a friend almost type of vibe, you know?
Okay, yeah, I would say that's fair. So then I at least hope that, well, I thought I saw some previews that they're doing something for the wedding. So I'm glad we're going to at least be somewhat part of it. And for all we know, they're getting married in the fall. They don't film in the fall. This is all filmed in the summer, right?
It is all filmed in the summer. And I was
So,
also thinking about that. I was like, I wonder if the Real Housewives of Beverly Hills are filming right now. They're not. They only film during the summer as well. So that kind of sucks.
why do they film in the summer?
I'm guessing
Why?
because people's schedules are a bit easier with like kids in school and stuff like that.
Oh, that
Also,
makes sense.
tying it back to the valley, I did pass Sir and Tom Tom the other day when I was driving through West Hollywood. I'm sad to report that Tom Tom was pretty dead.
I'm not surprised, to be honest. Sir's where
Yeah.
it's at. I mean, that's the one that it seems like Lisa's trying to revive. And
Should I go
Tom,
to
I
Sir
mean,
for dinner tonight
I think
after
you
this
should.
pod?
Yes. And I want updates on what you got.
Okay, I'll think about it. Anyway, can get back on track. I don't really have much more to say about Jasmine unless you do, but I would love to move to that weird airline bar that we saw Jesse
Oh,
and
yeah. Was it
what's his
Danny?
name? No, Zach.
Oh, yeah, yeah, yeah.
Interesting concept of a bar. Not sure I love it. But two, I just don't see them as actually close friends. I
No.
feel like Jesse's kind of like an oddball here when it comes to the friendships because one, he like him and Danny, like, but like Jesse's just such a douche. Like, who would want to be friends with him?
Right.
And then also him and Jason, I don't really see them as close. Maybe Jesse and Luke, I could see as friends, but I thought that conversation between, Jesse saying to Michelle, I hope you and Schwartz go at it. And then he talked to Schwartz and was like, I hope you and Michelle hook up. I thought that was kind of interesting and also like giving, like, you have my permission, but don't actually do it.
Yeah. It was it was weird, and I don't know. I don't think we're going to get much from Jesse this season anyways cuz I feel like he's going to be pulling straws. I mean, I felt like his wingman was Jax, and Jax isn't here.
Mm-hmm.
So I'm very curious to see how he kind of continues about this season. But what I did think was very interesting is that Zach went with Danny to his appointment for his
To check
vasectomy
his balls.
to say goodbye to the
To his
balls.
balls. Well, yes, I also thought that was interesting. And I do think it's funny how these shows kind of go into that, because in Vanderpump Rules,
Mm.
we saw that Tom went with other Tom to look at his balls and his sperm when him and Katie were trying.
Yeah.
And then before Scandival, we saw Tom and Tom again go back to the same doctor to get Tom's sperm looked at. So I just really feel like they're playing on this, we need a buddy to get our balls checked,
Which
which,
is
like,
very
cool.
odd. Very
I
odd.
mean, I would never ask you to come get my cooter checked with me, but I know you would do it if I was scared.
I would.
Okay,
That's why
well,
women are superior. We can handle the cooter doctor by ourselves.
I'll mark
The
you
men
down for
need
next
someone to hold their
year.
hand. But I'm not going to lie. I know Zach had made a comment that Danny laughed at his own jokes. I was laughing at his jokes. I don't know
thought
if that
they
makes
were
me
funny.
weird. But I
Well,
was like, I don't know. He's kind of funny.
We're
In a
kind of
weird
jumping
way.
all over the place, but I thought that, yes, I think that Danny was funny during that scene, but I did not think he was funny at that end scene when he was taking things as a joke
Yeah.
with Nia. I felt like she
No.
was really expressing how she was upset, and she just was not taking his stuff lightly. And I did feel for her in that situation. I kind of wanted to punch Danny at that end scene.
Well, yeah, and even in my notes, I have that it seemed like Danny was more focused on having sex than helping his wife or hearing his wife. It just felt like what Nia was saying was going in one ear and just like not being processed in his brain. And I was like, you can see how tired she is. You can hear the hurt in her voice. And if I was Nia, I would be annoyed because it's like, am I only here because you need to get your nut? Like, I'm trying to have a conversation with you about how I feel and how I feel about our children, and you're just taking this lightly.
Yeah. Well, what's also interesting is even Michelle says it in that scene with Schwartz that women's like libido goes up and like men's want to have sex goes down the older that they get. But here we're seeing the opposite for Nia and Danny.
Mm,
And, you know, it does go into that fourth trimester thing. You might not want to have sex. You might not want to have someone touch you all the time. I mean, I know when I don't feel or look my best, like I definitely don't want a man touching me. I'd like rather barf than someone touch me. Like,
right.
give me money and then maybe I'll think about it, you know, and that goes for my partner. Like, that got weird. Anyway, I would also like to touch on, if you have anything else to say about that weird dinner between Jesse and his girlfriend.
Oh, I thought that was so weird. I was like, Jesse, I mean, I get you're kind of, in my eyes, he's kind of the villain, right? He's kind of
Yes.
always been the drama stirrer, and I think that's what he's going to be this season. But I could just not believe how he was letting her treat him. Even I was like, what the heck? You need still respect from your partner, and I just felt like she was not giving him the respect.
I feel like she hates him.
Oh, 100%. Do you think she's only dating him to be on the show?
Yeah, I do. I thought the fact that they talked, because he had mentioned how they had a complicated relationship, how she was like 23 and he was 30. I mean, that's a 7 age age difference. What am I to say about an age difference when I tried to go out with a man who was 20 years older than me and then also gay? So like, age is but a number, baby. But also, I think at 23, I was not emotionally mature enough to be dating a 30-year-old. And also, I think if a 30-year-old was going after me at 23, I'd be like, what's wrong with you? And now that I am also approaching 30 in like a year and a half, the thought of dating a 23-year-old makes me want to vomit. Like, I don't even date men younger than me now.
Well, you're in a different life stage. Like at 23, I mean, in our case, we just left college. We started our big kid careers. And I just, yeah, when I think about me at 23, I was just not as mature as I am now. So knowing that Jesse's 30, I feel like that's kind of taking advantage of the age difference and kind of being able to manipulate the younger person in a way of how you want them
Yeah,
to be.
1000%. Also, the fact that she only wears Zara jeans, but you'll buy his daughter Dolce and Gabbana shoes.
It's called priorities, Clara. Give more to the kids than yourself. And I'm honestly
Mm.
surprised she said Zara because every time I talk to someone, they love their American Eagle jeans. Who wears Zara jeans? If I'm wearing Zara, it's probably a dress or a skirt or something. I'm not actually wearing their jeans. Not to say that I have hate against Zara jeans. I actually don't own any, but I just think dresses when I think Zara.
But Zara, if you want to send us free clothes for a sponsorship opportunity on our podcast, please let our producer Corbin know. This will be a normal thing, you guys, until we get sponsorships in our pod. So please be expected.
We're just speaking it into existence. That's all we're doing.
All we're doing. Anyway, yeah, this week episode of The Valley, we'll say it was a little bit of nothing, but
Yeah.
it is setting us up for the rest of the season. And I'm excited to see what comes of it. I'm excited to see Brittany's boyfriend on camera
Yeah.
next episode in this rodeo type of vibe. So if you have any thoughts on The Valley, our friends at home listening, please let us know.
And on that note, I think it's time to travel to the other side of the coast and talk about our girls out in Rhode Island.
Rhode Island, so beautiful. um, yes. Where do you want to start?
Well, my first note was I felt like I could relate to Liz when the episode first opened up because she was talking about how much she loves her in laws. And I love my in laws so much. I was like, oh, girl, samesies. And I thought that her outfits were so cute. And then I also just felt bad that I had no idea that her parents are no longer with us. And I felt like I could really relate to Liz in the beginning of this episode. Big Liz stand.
I adore Liz. I think Liz is so funny. I think she's very relatable. I mean, as I said, she's a cannabis queen, so we relate really hard on that. Um, I don't have in-laws, so I can't relate to this. But I do think that their relationship is very magical and wonderful. And Liz is the one one of her daughters is pregnant, right?
Well, it's not her daughter. She didn't actually have any kids. Remember when she was at lunch with Rue La La? And
Where's Rue La La? Is Rue La La coming? It's been
Rue
stuck
La
in
La
my head for
came.
days.
But none of the kids are hers. They're Gary's. She was their stepmother.
Yeah,
So she basically raised them, is what she did. So they kind of are her kids without really being biologically her kids.
well, okay, so this is a very interesting point because I really related to that lunch that they all had when, Rulala did say to Liz, like, well, you never gave birth to your kids, blah, blah, blah. As a kid who's adopted, I was like, whoa, those were some fighting words that she threw out. And I think it's always going to be like the nature versus nurture type of thing when it comes to like how you're raised. So I thought that was very interesting to see how much Liz kind of like was like, whoa, you need to back up here because those are my children as far as I'm concerned. I mean, I have a friend whose kids she adopted when they were kind of young, probably around 8, I think is when the oldest one was adopted. And I would have never thought that those weren't her children. Like I was like, "Oh my god, like you guys look alike." And she was like, "No shit, Sherlock. Like they are they're blood related but adopted that way." But no, I was interested in seeing how the family dynamics really go, and then also the boyfriend's parents coming in, and it just seemed like everyone really meshed together, which was really beautiful because I feel like Italian families and specifically like Rhode Island families are definitely like that of like, oh my gosh, of course, come in here, eat some antipasta and stuff like that.
I know. I feel like I should be Italian for that reason.
I thought
Because
you were Italian. Are you just cosplaying an Italian woman all the time?
apparently so. My mom was adopted, so I don't actually remember what she said her is, like her birth line. And I think it's a little fuzzy now. But my dad is mostly German, and that's just from my grandma's side. I have no idea about my grandpa's side. So maybe I am, and I just don't know. I need one of my siblings to take an ancestry test, and I'll base it off theirs
Why don't you take an ancestry test?
because I don't want to.
Okay. Data privacy?
Data privacy, baby.
Okay, that's fine. Okay, moving on. Where would you like to go to next?
I don't know why I wrote this down, but it's true. Joe Ellen is just so funny to listen to. And I think it's just because, like, in her confessionals, I don't know, the way she describes the other women. And I mean, going back to the last episode and how she didn't really know what 4th of July was, I'm just like, are you real life? I can't believe you you are Joe Ellen. Love you, girl. But she is just a hoot to listen to.
She's a hoot
Oh,
to listen to, and it's
yeah.
very that park scene with her and Ashley, we'll call her, was also very interesting because we got to see Ashley get very like emotional over some things,
Yeah.
and Joellen kind of was like, "Well, this is the way that life is, with children." But you were going to
Yeah.
say something else.
I was going to move on from the Joe Ellen thing, but I did think that was really sweet of like that whole conversation at the park.
Yeah, agreed with you there. Where are we going now? Are we going to our whatchamacallit little lunch with Kelsey and Liz and Rue La La?
Yeah. Well, because my question is if she's a cast member on the show, where was she last episode? Was it not until lunch this episode that we got to meet Rue La La?
I wonder that as well. And I do wonder if they just didn't want to overwhelm us with another brown haired woman who looks exactly the same as the other ones. And I also think that, well, because like Dolores is in the cast, but she's not going to be considered like, she's like
Right.
considered a friend. So
Right. So then,
Rulala, I don't know.
but again, that makes sense. But Dolores is a friend of a friend. Why was she introduced on episode 1 when we didn't even see her in episode 2? But yet, Rue La La is an actual housewife, and we don't meet her until this lunch. Do you
I
think
like
it
how we're
has to
calling her
do?
Rulala
I
and not
know.
Rula.
Actually, now that I'm saying things out loud, do you think it's because Joe Ellen had the 4th of July party and Rue La La and Joe Ellen are beefing?
Yes. I think it's also just to kind of get us like you know, acclimated to everyone in the cast. And I also think they had to build up the drama of here's this other character that necessarily like has a lot of drama between the cast and that now we need to be introduced. And then I also think that this lunch that we're watching or whatever it is of where Liz is like, but he is Ma, like that shit was juicy about Rulala's husband, Mr. Ralala, his affair. And I
Mr.
think that,
Brian.
yeah, that just was all tying like things in together. I do find it fascinating that this whole entire drama with like the photos and stuff like that, that's why Joe Ellen is like kind of outcasted and like looked down upon.
Right. When she's not the one who posted them, it's not like someone sent them to her. They were on the internet. So
Yeah.
why get mad at Joe Ellen if she was just saying, hey, just saying this is on the internet? She's not the one who posted them.
Yeah. I don't know. I mean, like,
I know.
if you were sent photos like that, would you be mad at the messenger? Or would you be mad at
I would be mad at the person who's in those photos.
I
I'd
don't
say
think I
get
would
out of
take
this
it out on the
house.
messenger. But also I think that when you get it from them, well, also you have to remember that then Joellen was telling everyone about it. It wasn't that she just sent the photos and didn't like and then went about her day. She was then broadcasting it to everyone as well. So I think that was a little bit difficult.
But we learned last week that people in Rhode Island don't know how to keep secrets. Not that it was a secret, it was on the internet, but they're loud mouths. They're nosy. We talked about how nosy these women are. So I'm not
nosy.
surprised that she went. I feel like that's just the Rhode Island thing.
I wonder if my aunt knows the guy.
I don't know. You should
I
ask
should
her.
ask. I will ask her one day. continuing on, we then meet Rula's family and her children. Very adorable.
So cute.
Wonderful house too. I haven't really been to Lincoln, Rhode Island. I don't think so. So that was a little bit of news to me.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, it's like basically in Massachusetts.
Interesting.
Very interesting. What did you think about her husband? I think her husband's not that cute to be cheating.
Agreed. And I mean, obviously, I like my men tall. I don't know if I would want to have someone who's the same height as me. I was like,
No, I
you
mean
can't wear
that's why I
heels.
have
Girl, I wear 6-inch heels for the pageant. I need someone who's at least, when I'm in my 6-inch heels, above 5'7".
1000%. That's why I only date men that are 6 foot and taller. Sometimes I go a little bit lower and like 5'10's okay on like a day that I'm bored. But like they have to be 6 foot and above because I'm a short lady. I like
Yeah.
wearing heels, and then also I like looking up. I think it helps adjust my spine from looking down all day on my phone.
Don't worry. We also love the short kings because I do know some short men. I'm sorry.
Speak for yourself. I think I was seeing a guy that was 5'8", and I told him, I was like, I hope you know we're never actually going to date because you're 5'8".
Isn't that the average height for a man, anyways? 5'8"? Because I think an average height for a woman is 5'5", and I'm below average.
Yeah, I'm below average too. I'm supposed to be like 4'9" because that's like the average height of a Guatemalan woman. And
No
yet my
way,
parents
for
fed me
real?
McDonald's and now I'm 5'3.25".
Man, you're like a
Don't.
giant.
Thanks, Amber. I have big feet too. You want to talk about that?
Well, what size are your feet?
Like an 8.
Yeah, same. I don't think that's weird.
Okay.
We have the same
Well,
size. Shoe.
just have to
That's
let you know.
normal.
Okay, well, moving on from feet because this is not a foot podcast. But
But Brian is a podiatrist.
and he's rubbing a lot more than feet these days. Hot take.
I have to say.
Oh, you go first.
No, I was gonna say right after my whole those notes, I have. I thought that the boats looked so cute. They look like they're wiggling in their little time lapse. I was cracking up for no reason. I was like, "Go, little boat, go! Go, little boat, go!"
Hey, that was like way more of a pure thought than what I was gonna say next, which was foot jobs. Yes or no?
No, absolutely no. Only I'm allowed to touch my feet.
Well, you know what a foot job is, right? Don't you? When you take your feet and you
What?
when you take your imagine this is some a peen.
No! Ew! Clara! That is so weird. I have never heard of that in my life. Wow, I just learned something new right now. That is foul. Your feet belong on the ground. Your feet, like I walk outside in my bare feet.
Well,
Feet
this
do not. Ugh.
this goes back to Jax Taylor when he told Brittany he loves when she walks around the like streets of West Hollywood, and then he comes back and he like kisses her feet.
That's foul. That's foul. You know what? Everyone's got their thing. This is no judge zone, but I will say I am not into the feet thing.
Well, that's why I wonder if this guy is a podiatrist for the right reasons.
Ben just texted me and said, "You need to get a grip down there."
Ask Ben if he's ever heard of it. Is he curious?
He'll say, "Please no." After that craziness. You know what I thought was crazy? That Alicia just casually mentions in her confessional that she's ran over a woman.
Oh my gosh,
I
right?
was like, what the heck?
Sorry. I'm texting Amber's husband on the side. He has heard of this action. And I just told him how I had to demonstrate. So he did the pumped face emoji.
Because this is an audio podcast and nobody can see, Clara in the camera was using her hands and just going straight up and down instead of just saying, Amber, it's like a hand job, but with your feet.
Yeah, I was using the microphone. Sorry, you guys. Anyway, yes, Alicia has hit a woman with her car. And also when she was pressed about it by the producers, they were like, "What do you mean?" And she was like, I hit her. Like,
Yeah, so casually. What the heck? You literally just said you ran over a woman. Did she die? I gotta know. Like, what happened? She needs to be on Real Housewives of the Rhode Island because I now need the answer. Is she okay? The
yeah,
world may never know.
we may
They
never
might know now.
know.
She might get her 15 minutes of fame and be like, I am the one that Alicia hit with the car, and I am either okay or not okay.
Honestly, ideal. Also, I do love that these ladies are in a sprinter van of some sort headed to a winery.
Yeah.
Moving on from that and foot jobs and everything. But I adore the fact that they all brought snacks for this car ride and that they all brought already like champagne for the car ride. But if you're also an avid Real Housewives watcher, you know that shit goes down in a fucking
Always.
sprinter van.
They always do. And I also thought it was funny that everybody thought Ashley's outfit was so interesting. She kind of did look like she came out of like a medieval fair, to be fair. So I give her kudos for standing out, but it was not the vibe for a winery, or at least the one they went to.
When we go to the winery in a few weeks, that's what I'm going to show up in.
Oh yeah, I'll join you then.
Okay, great. We'll look
Also, and I
natively.
appreciated her comment about it's hard making friends as an adult. I would say, well, Corbin, we've became friends within the last year. But other than that, as you all know, Claire and I have been friends for a decade. You want to know why? Because it's hard making friends as an adult. And I already met my bestie, especially when you move to a new state. So I was just like, yeah, as a girl who also moved from another state, it's not easy.
Well, I mean, like, side note here, I always feel like you make friends with like that one other person that you know. So like
Yeah, that's true.
when I moved from DC to Los Angeles, I sadly moved for a guy who may or may not now be gay. So, it just happens. It's just a pattern, yeah. And he was even the first one that happened to me too. But his roommates were really nice girls, and they were wonderful, and just they are together. They are lesbians, are homosexual friends, and which I can say because that's like a whole other story. Corbin's like, why would you say that?
Don't worry. They gave us permission.
They gave us permission to say this. But anyway, Sylvia and Kayla, like, they just kind of allowed me to kind of fit into their friend group. And then we just really stayed in touch. Even after I left, I saw them earlier this week. They're avid listeners of the podcast too. So, we're allies for them in their lifestyle, and they're allies for us in this lifestyle. But, that's just another way of making friends. I think I went on Bumble BFF once or twice, and that's how I met my old roommate, Tina. But yeah, it is hard to make friends as you get older. And now, Corbin, you and me are friends, but because of Amber, and then you two are friends because of Corbin's dad, which is just remarkable.
That's literally what I was just about to say is like there's no normal path to making friends as an adult because literally the conversation I had with my dad was, "Oh, hey, some people that I work with are like around your age and they want to meet you." And now I'm in a book club. So like that's how you meet people, I guess, as an adult. Make your dad make friends first.
Shout out Corbin's dad. And because of book club is how we got here. It all makes sense. It's the circle of life as an adult.
Going back to this winery, we see that there's some tension between the ladies because Joellen is like anticipating Rue La La to come to the winery. And I thought that the way that Joellen was kind of reacting to it was very immature, and I didn't like it.
I literally have in my notes, Joellen said, yeet to the gift box. since when
100%.
Ruella
How immature was
called that
that?
so immature. But I think that's what makes Joellen so fun. Is like she's just gonna do what she wants because it feels right to her in the moment. Clearly, her and Rulala have beef, so might as well yeet the box because, in her defense, it did look like Rula was already full glammed and just didn't want to come.
Did not want to come. Um, I didn't really take, I mean, I took away like some things about like this of like how Ashley really does seem to be the one that doesn't understand that people air out their dirty laundry all the time. She's like, they're talking about affairs, they're talking about their sex lives and all this stuff. And it's kind of just like, yeah, this is reality TV, baby. We air everything out, and maybe it's not as like clean as like The Bachelor was back in those days, but I really feel like I enjoyed that she was like a little bit like shocked from that.
Yeah, I think it's like a breath of fresh air to what you normally see on Bravo. So I think having someone who's not used to the Bravo universe, it's kind of like when Salt Lake City, Real Housewives of Salt Lake City first started. I felt like
Mm-hmm.
they were just kind of all over the place because you don't know. So having ABC blend with Bravo, it's kind of what it needed. It's giving that another layer to the show.
1000%.
What did you think about the question game?
Dude, what's with these reality TV shows and these like truth boxes?
Well, I wonder if they're just trying to stir up the drama because of it.
100%. It's like a producer plant.
Yeah. Well, they got to stop doing that because, like you said, every show kind of has their own. Let's play a game. Let's get everybody riled up. But I kind of liked this one, to be honest, because they got to kind of air out their questions. And I loved
Mm-hmm.
that they owned, like, they didn't write their names on the sheet, or it didn't look like they did, but they still owned up to being like, I asked that question.
What'd you think about Ashley losing her virginity at like 29?
I loved it. I was like, if you have a certain expectations, like if you want to wait for your person, fantastic, great for you. So I wasn't butthurt about it. Like it seemed like Kelsey was.
Yeah, well,
12? Did she say 12?
she said 14.
But still, at 14, I definitely was like, ew, boys.
Yeah, I
I
think
was not there.
we all grow up differently and
We
in
definitely
different
do.
I mean, you just learned what a foot job was today. I would not
I
have
know.
expected you to lose your virginity at 14 as well.
That's fair enough.
Fine, don't worry about it.
I'm still living
Um,
in La La Land.
well, now that Ben knows what it is, he might have some questions for you tonight. I will say, I love Liz's style. I really love all the girls' style. As I like look back on this episode, but Liz with her bucket hat, her Prada bucket hat, is just chef's kiss. It's just so gorgeous. Okay, episode 3, Real Housewives of Rhode Island. I feel like we are finally getting into this good drama that we've been promised.
I agree. It's good when they actually give us their intros, I guess I'll call them.
Yes, their taglines. I thought the taglines were hilarious. They were on point. I heard you laughing at one of them. I can't. Oh, where she talks about having two boyfriends, or no, it was a sugar baby one, right?
I think it was the sugar baby one.
Yeah, which I mean, she ends up having two boyfriends anyway, so that counts.
Yeah. I was just like, wow.
Can we talk about confessional looks real quick? Because I feel like every single one of those confessional looks from the Real Housewives of Rhode Island are spectacular. They all look fabulous. They all look glamorous. It's gorgeous.
I know. I don't know what is up in Rhode Island, but they just have fashion on lock. I feel like I want all of their outfits. Like,
Well,
not even like, well, I really love Rosie's. I think she's really embracing the pink, which fits her well, but I would wear any of their outfits for myself.
I was going to say, I feel like Rosie's favorite color is pink, and she truly wears it all the time. I also wanted to make a comment because for those who don't know, I can't watch the episode live right now because I'm on the West Coast and it doesn't come out till later. So I was watching while we were like FaceTiming basically. And I heard you make a comment about Liz and how Liz looks very different from before and how like now she looks.
Mm-hmm.
So if you don't know, Liz has the same plastic surgeon as Dolores. And there's also a joke going on in the Bravo universe about the Doloresification of all housewives and how slowly every single housewife is turning into Dolores.
I mean, Dolores is a stunning lady, so I don't blame him for wanting to take inspiration from an icon. But I just thought it was funny because you look at a flashback photo with her and Dino, and she doesn't have the lips. I mean, it's a younger photo, so it's not like she looks. I mean, she has filler in her forehead or like Botox or whatever. But I don't know. It just she looks different. But I could see. Well, in episode one, we saw that they were comparing Dolores and Liz because the caricature guy thought they were sisters.
Right. You're totally right. Let's talk about some polyamorous shit that's going on in this.
Yeah, I was quite shocked that we saw Billy, her boyfriend, not boyfriend,
Man
on
number
this.
two.
Yeah, on this episode. How intriguing that the man who does pay for all her stuff is not on it, but the boyfriend, on the other hand, is. Maybe he's trying to get his coin so that so she can have her sugar daddy still.
Well, I do wonder if the boyfriend number one who lives in Miami really wants to do it for anonymity. And if like he is very rich, because I think she said what she lives in this, 6,000 square foot home by herself a majority of the time. That's
Mm-hmm.
got to cost a lot of money. Her lifestyle has to cost a lot of money. Her clothes, her shoes, everything else has to cost a lot of money. So I wonder if he does have like a high paying job that he has to be really quiet about. So he can't be having, everyone see them.
Yeah,
Um,
but don't you think that people are going to find out who he is anyways because of her being on the show? Like,
I mean,
how
I don't know if he
anonymous
takes her
really?
out.
Hmm?
I don't know if he takes her out and about around the town. Like, I mean, I have like 5 Rhode Islanders I can ask for next week.
But that's my thing is the internet is going to do its sleuthing. So wouldn't you think that the internet's going to find out who her man is? So how anonymous is anonymous?
I don't know. I mean, listen, we can probably do some sleuthing of our own and see if we can find him or not.
Hmm.
But yeah, no, I did think it was interesting that she brought on boyfriend number two. Very bold of her. And I
Very.
guess her family also knows that she has a second boyfriend.
Well, yeah. Didn't she say that her mom wants her to have kids, so she's very much a Bill stand,
Yeah.
whatever he goes by.
I put Bill. I said, Bill, welcome.
I put
Um,
oh, I guess I put Bill too.
Yeah. So I thought that conversation was interesting. I thought seeing their relationship was interesting. I'll be curious to see how much more he like is involved in the season because we did see him at the party at the end of the episode.
Hmm.
But I wanted to go over to Liz real quick and talk about how we found a weird quirk from Liz. Was it Liz or was it? Oh my gosh, am I getting them
Are you
confused?
talking about the dolls?
Yeah.
That was Alicia.
Alicia.
Liz
Okay,
was
so Liz and Alicia look very similar to
so
me.
Alicia was showing Liz her
There we
doll
go.
collection, which I too thought was it's a very interesting collection to have, and it being displayed in their living room. But hey, it's like I have a few coworkers who love their Transformers and their action figure dolls, and they're probably out in their living room. So what's the difference?
Well, they're just creepy looking. Like I kind of get like doing, those pop funks. Like I get
Yeah,
doing the pop funks, but the dolls have always freaked me out. Like I just,
really.
what if they come alive one day? I mean, like Bratz dolls, their like eyes are like freakishly large, and
I
their
love
feet are
it.
freakishly large. Like
I was a Brat doll stan as a child.
I mean, I had them as a child as well, and I also had Barbies, but like even like porcelain dolls, fuck no. Like So the amount of dolls that she has scares the shit out of me.
I mean, fair point. It is a lot of dolls, and it's a lot of eyes on you.
Lots
Do
of
you
eyes
think
on
that
you.
it freaks you out because dolls are more human like than like a transformer?
Maybe. I
Hmm.
think just like the movie Chucky freaked me out.
I've never actually watched Chucky.
I've seen clips and I'm okay. But I did think that was a very interesting quirk. Um, and then I want to go to Rula real quick.
Mm-hmm.
Rula la. It
Ooh la
was very
la.
interesting to me that she was sharing more with her, like, I don't want to say cultural friends, but her like Lebanese and what's the S one? She's not. It's not
Syrian?
Syrian. Thank you. I was going to say
Mm.
Siberian. Syrian. Her Lebanese and Syrian friends. She was more willing to kind of share a bit more about that than with like Liz and Kelsey, which I thought was fascinating to see. But also, it made me wonder if she's just not as comfortable with that group yet.
That's what I was thinking when she went to her other group of friends, because I think it just shows that, or she just doesn't really trust our Real Housewives group
Mm-hmm.
to talk to them about how she feels. And I mean, for all we know, those women who sat at that table have gone through a similar experience that she's gone through, and they might just know her better than the Real Housewives group. And so I could see it being a comfortability thing.
Yeah, for sure. It was also fun to see that she has been married before, but she didn't want to bring it up on
I
TV.
so I was like, the producers are trying to get her to spill the tea, but she was not falling for their trap.
Yeah, she was not. We then go to see Ashley and her husband Jared together. And I was curious, so I was looking this up. Their coffee shop is in the middle of nowhere. Like it's not easily accessible unless you are like in the town of Narragansett or South Kingston. But like it's where they're located and where that restaurant was, it's not like easy off the highway. Like you have to go and find it. So when I go up next month,
Oh.
I will go find it, but it will be a hunt for my life.
Yeah, you'll have to report back. But my question to you is, do you think they miss being on TV and that's why they joined the series? Because, I mean, her only connection into the group is through Rosie.
So my answer to this is I do think that that's a possibility, but I also think because she is an influencer and already a reality TV star, Rosie might have been like, she has this experience, she would be good.
Mm,
And the Rhode Island influencer circle might be small, so it might be easy for her to get roped in.
yeah, good
That was a good.
points.
That was a good question, though.
Or do you think it's another way for them to promote Audrey's?
I'm sure Audrey's is picking up. I mean, I saw that they do trivia on Fridays with Jared. Fun fact.
Oh,
But I I think it is because they're not on the Bachelor stuff as often as they are. You
I
know,
don't.
a
I was
lot of
gonna
the people
say
who, yeah,
I don't think I've seen them since the last good season of Bachelor in Paradise when they were like, "We just needed a vacation."
yeah. Um, so I think that them coming back might be a little bit of both the income, the
Mm.
influencing, but also they're in that circle. But I really would like to say that Ashley looks gorgeous. I think she's so beautiful and she looks so natural and everything. And you know, that's not like a hit against the other women, but I just noticed like Lula's tits are basically up to her chin. Like they are so high up. I
Yeah,
was amazed. So either that bra or that plastic surgery is like that's a
on
good shit.
period. Yeah.
Um Rosie's boyfriend is weird.
No, that's her husband.
Oh, that's her husband?
Yeah,
Oh, well, he's a fucking weirdo.
he is an interesting fellow, but my whole thought on that whole conversation is, why would you get married to someone without talking about kids? I feel like that's a huge topic that should have been discussed before that. because it really felt like they're on two different pages. And I know plastic surgery is a thing, but I don't think you can be 40 and look 25.
Well, going back to the guy I had a crush on, almost 50, looks 38. No plastic surgery. My eyes
Yeah.
might be a little bit broken, but
Touche, my friend, touche.
so maybe, I don't know. I mean, like the woman I nanny for, she's 42. Sorry if calling you out, but I mean, she looks my age. She looks 28.
You think so? I've never seen a picture of her. But I feel
Well,
like when I was, so someone on the metro thought I was 21.
well, you mean
And even
get
there, I
that.
just don't feel like I look 21. I still feel like I may not necessarily look 29, but
When
I would
you
say mid
dress
20s.
when you dress in sweatpants and like a long sleeve, like there was a photo of you with Crow on here the other day, and
Yeah.
I was like, Amber looks like she's in high school. And it's the same thing for me. Like if like I look like a child frequently as well. Like my ex-boyfriend used to tell me all the time, when you dress in sweatpants and like look like, not your best. He's like, I feel like I'm your dad taking you to the grocery store. And I was like, yeah, I mean, you are. So
Yeah, so pay, please.
exactly. I don't have money. I'm just a baby.
I'm just a
But
baby.
yes, I was interested in that. I do think that that's a conversation you have before you commit your life to someone, unless you think like divorce is easy peasy and annulment. But I actually asked one of my friends to have my baby this week if he gets drafted, but that's a conversation for a different day that we can dive on. He said yes, so
Oh, well, that's good. As long as he
yeah.
said yes.
Yeah, full consent. I said we could turkey baste it. No need to do the deed. So I'll keep you guys updated on that. I would like to go to the party.
I was happy to see Dolores again.
Yes, my girl
Yeah.
Dolores. But I was right. It does say Liz's friend, right?
Yeah.
Okay, I
Well,
could
and
barely read the text from where
well,
I was sitting.
I feel like if you went to the Bravo website, or I quickly Googled the cast because I needed the names because I was not remembering the names from earlier, and it said that Dolores is a friend of a friend.
Okay. So she's not a full-time cast member, but I think they needed someone to bring in the like
Yeah.
excitement.
Yeah,
Um,
but I still would have loved to see, like, I was happy to see her, but I'd still wish that she had more, or like they added more content from her from the party into the segment.
mhm.
Even though I do feel like it had to have been very producer for Joe Ellen and her husband to talk to Rula and her husband. It did, the way she went up to them, it was awkward, didn't like it, and then it just kind of felt forced to have that conversation, and it was not the right time nor place to have it either.
My 2 cents on that is either A, Joella knew that she needed to do it, or B, she was going to, the producer did ask her and was like, you need to go up and go talk to this and like fix this. I think that Joellen, I actually have in here is that like Joellen is very brave. She's ballsy.
Uh-huh.
And so I think that she was like, this is going to be my good edit. Like, this is where I'm going to be able to get in there and set the record straight and all this stuff. I think she wants Rula
It's Rula.
to it's Rulala to me, to
Rulala.
really respect her, and the way that she's gonna do that is to like cause drama and be like, I'm gonna face you head on. Fuck that.
Mm-hmm.
Um, I also want to say there have been so many Studio 54 parties in the Real Housewives franchises. I think I've been to one in every single fucking franchise. Like Salt Lake City did one, Real Housewives of Beverly Hills has done one, pretty sure New York has done one. It's like, who is paying Bravo to do all these Studio 54 parties?
I don't even know. That's a great point. I never put two and two together.
And I don't know who said it, but someone said about Rula's husband, one outfit is Studio 54 and the other is Faithful Husband.
I wrote that down too. It was Alicia.
I lost my shit when I heard that. I thought that was so funny.
I was like, dang, she is. For someone who doesn't That to me was very much a Joe Ellen comment. So Alicia coming out here with the Joe Ellen comment was hilarious.
Oh yeah. Um, any thoughts from that fight that was going on?
I just felt bad. Like my overall impression of that fight was it was the wrong time, wrong place, felt forced, and I mean it's just awkward, especially because Liz had to come in and be like, "Why are you doing this here? This isn't about
Hmm.
this party's about my husband. Come and celebrate him, not talk about this drama. Do it another day. Pick another place." So that's all I have
Yeah.
on that.
But
How
what a
about you?
party though. That I mean that house is gorgeous. Like I
It was
want to
definitely meant to be partied in.
1000%. I wonder if they had like a weed smoking section.
Oh, 100%. She is the queen of weed and the king of cannabis. Of course, I feel like there was a section. Not that Bravo would show it, but there had to have been one.
I mean, the fact that they're even talking, well, maybe they would have shown it because on Real Housewives of Beverly Hills, they had a cannabis cook come over and they were doing that.
Oh, oh,
Yeah, but
maybe.
I guess they're not showing them like smoking weed. They're like
Yeah.
eating it. Um, I love Ashley with bangs. I think she should keep them full time.
Well, that was a wig.
Yeah, I know, but I love her
Oh,
with bangs. Like I think they're adorable. I will be sending her a DM saying, "Please keep the bangs."
you look so good.
Um, Go ahead.
I was going to say, to quickly go back, I just, all I could think about during that fight too is they sounded so much like New Yorkers. Like it was, who wrote the note? You know, it was just like, ooh. I was like, oh my gosh.
I'm gonna have my aunt's voice note you when I go up to Rhode Island so you
Please.
can hear these accents because they're funny. Like
I it's
you're
just
right.
yeah. I don't know if like it would be the other way. Like I don't know about how you feel because you probably went to Rhode Island first before New York.
Yes.
So then does New York sound
New
like Rhode
York sounds
Island?
very different to me. I can tell the difference between like a Rhode Island accent, a Boston accent, because Boston's a lot harsher.
Yeah,
And
that I can
then
tell which one's a Boston one too, but I
but
don't know.
then
I just can't get
also
past New York City and the Rhode Island.
yeah, I can well because Connecticut also has like a separate accent that's like more it's like a hybrid of a Rhode Island and a New York one. So
Okay, so when we do our road trip, we'll make sure to pit stop for at least 24 hours so I can ingest the um, the accents to actually understand the difference between all three.
1000%. I mean, I'm sure we'll figure it out. You and then you'll be a pro and you'll be like, "Oh my gosh, this makes so much sense."
Yeah.
Um, the Liz and Kelsey fight. I thought that Kelsey got ballsy. She got too comfortable,
Yeah.
and I think a joke that could have like rolled off the back did not land well. And Liz was probably already triggered from seeing the Joellen and Rulala shit.
Hmm.
That's what kind of sparked that, and maybe
Well,
alcohol.
yeah, I was going to say, and I feel like clearly they had been partying for a few hours. I don't think the alcohol helped either, heightens the emotions. But I thought it was interesting that in Liz's confessional, she said, you should ask Kelsey about her and Dino. What went on there?
Swinger shit.
I wouldn't be
We just
surprised.
all sharing the same man.
It kind of sounds like Secret Lives of Mormon Wives. They're all sharing
Yes.
the same man.
I was gonna say it feels like has a version of himself in Rhode Island, you know?
Yeah, and his name must be Dino.
Oh my gosh. I mean it's only a matter of
Well, I
time.
guess maybe not necessarily because Dino is just Liz's friend. But it is weird. I just think also because of how connected Rhode Island is, it's just, I mean, I guess it's bound to happen. Utah is a much bigger state than Rhode Island. So I'll give Rhode Island a break.
Poor Rhode Island. I'll tell you this story real quick. One time, oh my god, my mom, if she ever hears this, she'll fucking murder me. When I was in high school, I like wanted to move to Rhode Island so badly, and I was like trying to convince my family to move there, but like it didn't happen. And so on Twitter, these were the golden days of Twitter. I went to, I think it was Warwick High School or something like that, and I like found like all the lacrosse players, and I followed a bunch of them on Twitter, and one of them messaged me back, and we became like pen pals, and he took me to his prom up in Rhode Island. I told my mom that we met on the beach one year when we were up there.
Oh my God. I love it
he,
though.
he turned out to be a fucking weirdo. So that didn't work out. He also came to my prom, and like it was very weird. It was very awkward. Never do that. Actually, I could have fully gotten murdered.
Yeah, but like you said, that was the better days of Twitter.
I mean, I was dumb, naive, and also I knew someone who knew, like, Rhode Island's so small. My cousin's best friend knew him because she was a substitute teacher or a teacher at that school. It was Tollgate High School in Warwick,
Yeah.
Rhode Island. That's what it was called, and they were the Trojans, I think, or something dumb.
Well, there you
Anyway,
go.
yeah, so everyone knows everyone. But that's my story. Any other thoughts on Real Housewives of Rhode Island before we sign off and go to bed? Because Corbin's yawning.
I think I'm excited to see what happens next week, even though I did skip the previews. So we're super excited because we're going in blind
Oh, I
next
always
week.
watch the previews. I can't
I know,
wait.
but I'm thrown back to not watching any previews so I can go, the bartender?
That's a nod to Amber and I and a friend of ours saw this movie Eternity, which is very good.
Oh,
Highly
yes,
recommend.
yes.
And we are in the movie theater, and I am the kind of person, I watch all the trailers. I keep a running list on my phone, like I need to go see this movie, whatever. And we sit down in the theater. Now, mind you, on the movie poster is Elizabeth Olsen, Miles Teller, and Caleb Turner. So we're in the theater, and Miles Teller comes on screen, and she goes, I didn't know Miles Teller was in this. And myself and our friend like look at her, we're like, okay, whatever. Maybe a minute or two go by, and the other love interest comes on screen, and she goes out loud in a theater with other people, the bartender. And we can hear people in rows in front of us laughing at her reaction because the whole premise of the movie, like in the trailer on the poster, is you see these two men. So like she did not know anything going in. It was hilarious.
So I just, love a good surprise. So that's what we're getting next week.
I will say they made Miles Teller really ugly in that movie, and that really just depressed me. So I'm upset. Any other comments, you guys?
Do you have any other comments?
I have some thoughts on Joellen.
Knock your socks off, Clara.
We messaged Joellen a few weeks ago, back in March, talking about how we were launching this podcast. And when it came to this podcast, we wanted to do a dessert inspired by the show that we're watching, duh. And so we wanted to ask her what her favorite dessert was. And so Joellen responds, ooh, that's really hard. I'm a cheesecake girl through and through. However, if baklava counts, chef's kiss. And chocolate banana bread pudding. She didn't really put anything else with chocolate banana bread pudding. So I do wonder if we have to make chocolate banana bread pudding, which low-key sounds disgusting, but I'll eat it for the pod.
But I'm kind of curious. So I feel like that's also part of the reason why we got to make this.
Absolutely. So I personally would like to say that this is not an ad for Cheesecake Factory, but it's just a place that we could go where it all had the same cheesecake flavors. However, Cheesecake Factory, if you are listening, we are open to sponsorships. So if you're interested in sponsoring us, please reach out to Corbin, my producer, our producer.
So because we are also getting from the Cheesecake Factory, we will post a no-bake cheesecake recipe on the Instagram because your girl likes easy. The least amount of work, the better. And what I love about the cheesecake recipe I'm going to post is that it's mostly refrigerated. You don't have to bake anything, and that's what we like. Simplify it even more and get your canned jams or whatever toppings you love on your cheesecake. So, we'll start with you, Clara. What is your favorite cheesecake from the Cheesecake Factory?
Okay, wait, side note too. Also, I have had Amber's no bake cheesecake, and it's probably actually that might be actually one of my favorite cheesecake things because it's so delicious. It's so easy to eat. And I would have eaten like 20 of those, but I stopped myself. From the Cheesecake Factory, I did get the Oreo Dream cheesecake. I love the Oreo Dream cheesecake. A big runner up is the key lime pie cheesecake.
Yum. Mine would be the lemon raspberry cheesecake. I love that it's a little bit lighter than a cheesecake. I love that it kind of has hints of summer. My runner up would be the cookie dough because I love cookie dough anything. And if it wasn't for the Cheesecake Factory, the cheesecake I love the most is from my mother in law. I just think she makes the most delectable cheesecake ever. Corbin?
Yes, so from the Cheesecake Factory, I did the white chocolate raspberry cheesecake. It hits all of the right notes. It gives you the savory, it gives you the sweet, and it gives you the fruity. So, a big fan of that. My favorite cheesecake of all time, though, is Junior's original cheesecake from New York City. They have two restaurants, both of them off Times Square. One is right near the Lion King, so you've got great views as you're as you're eating your cheesecake. But I love this cheesecake so much that when my sister and I travel home from New York on the train, we will leave ourselves enough time to buy a cheesecake and then sit in the cafe car and just eat it on the way home.
I'll have to ask my brother in law if he's ever been. And then when we go to New York this summer to get a Coney Island hot dog, we'll now have to add cheesecake into our adventure.
1000%. I also did message Joellen back and asked where her favorite Rhode Island cheesecake spot was. So when we hear back from her on that, I will let you know. But yeah, I think I love all cheesecake. Cheesecake was great. What was your final whisk this week, Amber? One takeaway from the lesson or one takeaway from your cheesecake choices?
I would say my final whisk is, and this is my own advice I need to follow, don't push through if you feel dizzy or nauseous. Just sit down. Or at least eat a satisfying meal before dealing with needles so that you don't feel like you're going to pass out in a waiting room.
That's beautiful, Amber. I love that for you. I think my final whisk is that all bodies heal differently. And, really watching Kristen and watching Nia and just how they are both reacting differently to motherhood was very fascinating to me and something that I also am interested in looking at. And as you said, we've talked about freezing eggs before. I looked into that recently at my yearly appointment that you did not bring me to. But it's expensive. It's a huge decision. You have to put a lot of hormones in your body. So I'm just fascinated by, how moms do it and how women are just impeccable, including our woman astronaut that just came back. Bring it all back to the astronauts. So yeah. For the rest of the week, we're looking forward to some new reality TV shows. I'm definitely watching a lot that I feel like I'm like slacking a little bit on whatever's coming out. Continuing watching Summer House drama, which is always very interesting. Corbin's still on now she's on season 2, so she's really getting into the nitty gritty of it. So yeah, and then next week we'll be back together.
Thank goodness. It's been too long.
It has been. I will never leave you for this long ever again.
Period. Thank you.
I will say I feel like Salt Lake shitty. Oh my God. Salt Lake City should be shaking in their boots. Wow, that's a lot. Salt Lake City should be shaking in their stilettos. Well, make that a tongue twister, please. But because this is going to be a really good season, and it's going to be one of those first seasons that really takes off. And Salt Lake City is getting a little bit boring. I mean, like, bring back Jen Shaw if you're going to make things interesting. But I'm excited to see how this goes. I'm excited to see more fights. I want to see Liz smoke a joint and calm the fuck down because, girl, like, why are you overreacting over like Lil Kelsey's comments? So yeah, those are my final thoughts.
Love it.
Amber, would you like to close this out?
Yes, I would love to. Follow us on Instagram, TikTok, and YouTube at Need, KNEAD, for reality. For recipes and chaos and maybe some fun bits from us filming. Subscribe and please leave us a review and share with your fellow reality TV enthusiasts and family bakers.
And we'll catch you guys next time.
See you next week. Bye.
Bye.
This is